I'm conscious.
Now what?
What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Yeah.
Hold it. What you talking about, doctor?
Hey, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back as promised. I'm Derek Dunlap, the co-host and the technical audio visual man for I'm Conscious. Now what? I am joined with the man, the myth, my brother from another mother, Ryan JC. It's Sunday, Ryan. How was your week, man?
How's my week? It was very good, thank you. Very productive. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this chat. I mean, we announced what we're going to be doing, or at least what we're going to be talking about last Wednesday on our test. And I apologize if you're listening today. And we called in last time and it didn't work. There were some technical difficulties. You may not have been able to hear my voice. That's because I was muted on the Xeno Live, which is what we used to call people. But today, everything should be going fine. There will be moments within this chat where you can call in, and we'll let you know the number later on. But for now, we're going to be discussing astral sex and other things like this. Let's just throw it on you right there. And also, we'll be answering your questions in the chat. Yeah,
cool.
No pieces came late. You didn't come late. You're on time.
We right on time. So let me give you guys a little update before we get into the much awaited astral sex lingo and talk. We're going to make this easy for the calls because, as we said on Sunday, we want this to be our platform. Okay, I took a lot of notes here, ladies and gentlemen, and the things that I want more participation from you guys. We want you to feel like this is your platform along with our platform. So we did something that'll make it easier for everyone to voice their opinion and not really call on a physical phone. What I want you, and you could do this, Ryan, if you could put this into the chat. I want you guys and gals to go over to imconsciousnowwhat.com. We have an application over there where you can actually listen to us on audio and push one button and get into our call-ins. Okay, you push that button, the app will automatically throw you into my little batch over here that I'm monitoring, and I can see that's when you have questions and you want to join us live on the air. Okay, and if you're one of those beings that you're a little bashful and you kind of shy, hey, say my name is Mary Moo or Joe Blow. We just want to hear your voice. Your participation is what's going to help us take this platform all over the globe, because this will be the only platform where we all voice and spread and share our consciousness. So that's imconsciousnowwhat.com. All we ask is when you get over there, if you're watching on the Hangout, if you got a couple of browsers open and on Xeno Live, there will be a delay in the technology. So mute the Hangout when we tell you you're live over the air. Okay, mute the Hangout. All right. That's about it, Ryan Cropper, man. As usual, it's and don't forget, hit the like button on YouTube Live. Hit that like button. That's the only way that your friends and other people around the internet world is going to find out about this show. And hey, you help promoting yourself, especially if you guys are going to be joining us and voicing your consciousness, voicing your opinion, sharing things that you experience as your consciousness is broadening. This is what this show is about. This is not just a show where, you have the gurus and we do all of the talking. We want to hear from you guys because there are some enlightening people that are listening to this. I look at the chats, and last week, Ryan, we were just talking the other day. I saw some questions where people wanted to know things that I didn't even know. So feel free to go over to imconsciousnowwhat.com. The only catch to that, you must be in the Google Chrome browser for that app to work. The Google Chrome browser. Hit that call-in button. Get on right now. There'll be a little line, but we're going to be taking calls all throughout this show. And without further ado, Mr. Cropper, astro sex? Is it a myth? Is it a lie? Is it just in our mind? Is it mentalism? Do you care to share, my brother?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, they get invited with the concept of lucid dreaming. For obvious reasons, they want to know what it's like to either fly or to be with someone they've never been with before. We all know that lucid dreaming constructs with the mind. Spoiler alert, you know, if you've had sex before, then your subconscious mind will use that experience and just attach that to the creation of whoever it is that you're fantasizing about. It won't be like you're actually with that person, okay? However, astral sex is something that often freaks people out at first. You know, it's I guess it's a preferability. Some people think that you're going to be laying with incubuses or a succubus, something that's going to take your energy, because, you know, the astral realms in particular deal with energy. So obviously, you know, it's either an energy exchange where you're just taking energy, or you're swapping energy, or they're draining you. It depends on the being you're with, but it is real. I've done it. Many other people have done it, and we'll talk about that today. If any of you in the chat have also experienced it, let us know. And you know, shall we get them in on a call? That'd be cool, right?
I don't see why not. Let's engage with our audience. If you guys want to get in on this chat right now, have you ever experienced, those of you who are astral projecting, have you ever experienced astral sex? You don't have to get graphic with it. You can just tell and share about the event, or did it feel better than 3D? Were you scared? And even some people call it abductions, you know? Give us a call. If you haven't gone over to imconsciousnowwhat.com and using that app, which works on the Google Chrome browser, you can also call in at 1701 719 1458. And Mr. Cropper, if you can put that phone number in the chat, 1701.
Yeah, I'd like to say also, the number is also in the description below, if you guys want to.
Great catch.
I've also put it in the chat. Yeah.
Great chat.
But,
so what we?
Yeah, before that happens, let's just talk about what we've experienced, right? I mean,
yeah, man.
You've done it. You've experienced it, right?
I'm kind of bashful though, Crop, but you know, that's what I love about this. This is like this. I'm conscious now. What it's. You're gonna throw me to the wolves first, right? All right, so astral sex. This is, I struggled with this for a while, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm married. I love my wife to death, and this is about being honest. You know, I'm totally honest when I do these broadcast live. It's like I'm opening up a part of myself, so people who have experienced and shared certain experiences can actually feel the energy. My wife, this woman who I'm madly in love with, my soulmate, I have been totally faithful to. When I was younger and I had girlfriends and dating, you know, I used to cheat a lot, you know, but it was just something about my queen now, my soulmate. I've been totally honest. I mean, I only share my sexual energy with her, period. Okay. So when I start engaging and exploring and start having these outer body experiences, what's so cool about the astral realm, as you guys and gals will start exploring, it's a thought responsive dimension, you know, a thought responsive place. So, you know, if you, and I'm trying to keep this PG-13, if you, you know, this is real, but I'm kind of filtering this. If you project and on your mind, let's just say, for example, the time that this happened to me, I was feeling very sexual when I had this outer body experience. I was just, intimate with the love of my life, my wife. And after sex, after you release that sexual energy, you exchange that sexual energy with your partner. It's the most energy usually a lot of people are aware of at one time that can actually kind of like astral projecting the vibrations, the orgasm, the sexual energy. That's a whole nother show. But, after, a great exchange of sexual energy, you get that, especially the men, we get kind of tired and we lay back and we start focusing. Well, I slid out of my body. And I can just remember my thoughts manifesting in this realm. And I guess I was giving off a vibration of lust, that wave. And so it attracted, I'll just say a being. And this being was a very, very attractive being. She was tall and she was a Caucasian being. And what was really special about this and kind of weird is I had never in my life been intimate with anyone out of my race. It was just, and that's just the way I always had a curiosity, but I never dated out of my race. Not that I don't find Chinese and Caucasian and Arabic women beautiful. Yeah, it's just, I guess I never had the balls to, the different cultures. So here's this beautiful Caucasian woman in the astral realm. And the first time this happened, it was kind of hard for me to hold a frequency. When she first came into my realm and I was aware that she was standing there, very, very attractive. The first encounter was more, we were feeling each other's energy. It was kind of weird because it wasn't a physical thing. And that's what's kind of hard to explain. It was just, I was standing there and she came into my sphere and I could feel her energy. And when I began to feel her energy, it was very arousing. It was like arousing me. The same feelings that I get in my body from touch in 3D. I got these same feelings. And it was a little overwhelming at that time. And I got too excited and I slammed back into my body because I couldn't hold the frequency the first time. So I learned something from that projection. It was so profound because that was my first time experiencing, I would just call it erotic feelings in the astral realm. Before it was just, I can fly. Oh, I can touch the wall. You know what I mean? It was just exploring. Oh, this is cool. I can feel this energy. Or it was nothing. It wasn't even in my database of this feeling of sexual energy, even if I don't even know if it's the same sexual energy. So what happened was I downloaded unconsciously that frequency, that feeling. Okay. Once that happened to me, it's like, I don't want to sound graphic. It's like your first masturbation and you have an orgasm and you realize that you can get yourself off. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but I'm just trying to give you guys an example of how you will download that frequency and you'll want to astral project more to try to experience what you had just experienced, because this is a whole nother realm. This is a whole nother dimension. So I would say, guesstimating, as this was a while ago, I would say maybe 2 or 3 days later, my wife was asking me, why you been laying around a lot, because I was trying to get back to the fucking astral realms, and she noticed that I was just was new to me. And I didn't even tell Ryan about this at that time. It was just new. It was sacred. So I managed to get back to that realm. And sure enough, it's thought responsive. Whatever you think about in the astral realms will manifest. Like, wow, there it is. That's why it's so, so important, ladies and gentlemen, meditation is important so we can start learning how to control our thoughts, each thought. So I would get to the realm. I would just think about her energy, that feeling. I would visualize her, what I saw, and the frequency, how I felt. And sure enough, it was almost like I was calling her. It's kind of hard to explain, but we would meet up again, you know. And this took a while for me to get back. It wasn't like I did it the first time and the next time. This took time for me to actually have the second experience with her. It wasn't like that, but we met up again. Very, very excited this time. It's weird how she starts it. She always looks like right into my eyes, and I look into her eyes, and then it's almost like we're sharing energy. And the reason why I call it astral sex is because I get the same sensations and the same feelings that I get from physical sex. I feel this arousal as we exchange this energy. So this went on, oh man, maybe 4 or 5 times after that. And it took like 90 days out of my life, all of my projections. I'm just being honest. I'm human. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Some of you will say, oh, he got perverted and turned out. But my main intent to project was to meet up with this being, this woman, right? I wasn't even sure, and I'm not even sure. Well, now I know that it's another person, astral projecting, with much more awareness than I had at that time. So it became, and it's hard to explain this because the astral realm is a non-physical realm, but we have astral bodies or energy bodies. It started getting physical where not only did we exchange energy, but she began to interact with my light body, my energy body. And it was certain things, not being graphic, that she would do to me that seemed so physical. It became physical. It was just the touching, the way she touched me, the way she looked at me. It would just send my vibrations higher. And this is when I began to get more comfortable with beings in the astral realm, because some beings, this brought my awareness of, okay, she's making my vibrations higher. She's not taking anything away from me. Like I said before, she vibrated much higher than I did. And why she was attracted to me, I have no idea. This is just something. But we began to meet up a lot in the astral realms, to the point where I start feeling like I was cheating on my wife. I'm just being honest. That's how real this is, And I decided to tell my wife about this woman that I'm meeting in the astral realms. And because of the distance and our awareness, my wife has had one outer body experience, but she has no idea about, she's not as advanced as I am with astral projection. So she's never experienced this. This is not in her consciousness right now. She kind of chuckled and laughed it off, and even kind of mocked me a little bit. Oh, go spend time with your other girlfriend. Because I don't think at that time she realized how real this is in my universe, in my consciousness. And it wasn't until, I guess, she became aware of me always talking about this particular lady. And she asked me, I remember one night she asked me, you really like her, don't you? And, I say, yes, I really enjoy the exchange of energy. But it's so, and Ryan will touch on this, it's so much, the astral realm, you can feel and sense, and it's like your whole being is experiencing this energy, not just your private parts in the 3D. You know what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen? It's just such a higher exchange of energy. And we just call it astral sex for the title. I don't even know if, I'm just being honest. And there's some people on this call that might be able to say, no, you're not having sex. You guys are just exchanging energy. But what is sex in 3D? It's the exchange of energy. And so up until now, I'm just going to bring you guys up to date. My wife knows about this astral being. She's advancing more. and she doesn't hold it against me. And she's cool with it, you know, and we don't have an open marriage in 3D, but I kind of have this open relationship in the astral realms with this particular being. I won't say any names, and I don't want to give any broad descriptions because I realize now how real this is. This other person is actually meeting me in the astral realms, and I guess doing things that she can't do in the 3D. And I would love to hear you guys' opinion on this. And you know, is it if you had a spouse, or if woman or man, and your spouse was having a relationship in the astral realm, exchanging energy, I'll just say that, would that be a problem for you, male or females? You can get on that call, 701, and it's in the description. It's in the description. You guys will see the description. Would that be a problem for you? Because it was for me. I felt guilty in the beginning, and I actually shared it with my wife. And at first she chuckled, but then the more time I was laying on the couch, actually trying to get out of body, it was very powerful, a very powerful exchange of energy. I've never felt so good and blissful in 3D before. I mean, it was just mind blowing and up to date. I haven't seen her, oh man, in a couple months, you know, now, because, you know, at first it's mind blowing, but then you get used to it. But yeah, I have a astral partner that occasionally we meet up and we exchange energy. And that is my ongoing, up to date astral sexual experience. And Cropper, we have a couple of calls in the queue. You want to bring them in?
Yeah, sure. I've noticed they've been waiting there for some time now. 10.
Let's get them in.
Let's get them in.
All right. So the first caller in the queue is going to be Matt Davis. Now, Matt, before I bring you in, just make sure that you mute the live hangout. The live hangout. If you're listening to the live hangout, mute the hangout. And if you could do me a favor, let me know if you can hear Ryan when you join us live. We had a technical difficulty on the last one. We couldn't hear Ryan. So Mr. Matt Davis, you are live with us now. Can you hear us, Matt?
Cool.
We hear you, my friend.
Can you hear me, bro? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep,
Make sure you mute your live stream hangout.
Yo.
I hear a little echo.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, man, it's muted. It's just lagging, I think.
Okay, go ahead. You're perfect, my friend.
Nice, cool. So I have a question.
Hopefully, we'll have an answer for you. Go ahead, shoot it, Matt.
Currently, I'm having to adjust to the lag because I'm experiencing the video and your voices.
Okay, mute one, Matt. That's an easy solution, my friend. Mute the video audio and just use your phone for now. And then once you get off the call, unmute and go back to the live stream.
Later.
Are you still there, Matt?
Okay, cool.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what Matt is experiencing is the delay. So
Hello?
we are here, Matt.
Okay, I think I have you now.
Okay, cool. Hey, brother.
Nice. All right, yeah. This is current time. Cool. Nice.
Okay, cool, Matt.
So I've been raising my vibration recently, and my sense of touch has heightened to an extreme level where touching pretty much all objects feels really uncomfortable. And I was just wondering if you have any habit or meditative technique I can use to avoid this,
Why does it
or
feel
maybe not
uncomfortable?
avoid it, but grow from it.
Right, I would say grow from it.
Yeah.
I don't see how that would be like really uncomfortable. You could actually
No,
use
it's.
that.
Do you know the feeling when you've rubbed your hands on cotton?
Yeah, that's horrible. But are you going around doing stuff like that?
No, it's just whenever I touch anything inorganic. So touching the dirt, touching plants, touching my own skin is fine, but touching other things that, yeah.
Yeah, I would just not touch any other thing that makes you feel uncomfortable because yeah, you're gonna get a lot of feedback from that.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, there is a technique you can do to enhance your pre-existing ability. Do you have any earplugs?
Earplugs. Yeah, I'm sure I could find some.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't find some, they're only like $1
Yeah, anyway,
for a
yeah.
pack of like 6.
Yeah, I'm from England. I'm from a
Oh, cool.
small town near the Avebury Stones.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, just to
I'm
give
not
you
quite sure where you can
perspective.
get them in England.
But yeah,
Across the pond with you, crowd.
Maybe Amazon. But you plug them into your head
Mhm.
or your ears, and you want to do this at night when no one's around. And you basically just rub your hand against the wall very gently, and you'll
Yeah.
feel the vibration travel up your arm and into your head.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So you'll begin to establish a new kind of connection to vibration. And if
Yeah.
you were to stand in the middle of your room and like clap your hands, you would actually be able to feel the energy bounce off the wall and hit a part of your face. Maybe if you have your t-shirt off, you can do that. And you can rub your feet against the floor. The weirdest one is when you rub your skin, because you'll be able
Yeah.
to feel the vibration go up into your head. And what it's doing is it's shaking it's like this small bone inside of your head near
Yeah.
your eardrum. You've got them on either side.
Hmm.
You'll basically internally hear your external environment.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
really fun.
Yeah, it's derived from a combination of waking up before the sun and meditating for half an hour to an hour and doing yoga, which has just increased this sensitivity of touch.
Yes.
But
Definitely.
it's cool. It's just difficult to get used to because I do a lot of work with my hands, like working out and writing and stuff like that. It just feels yeah, it's indescribable. The closest thing is like cotton, but more intense.
More intense. Have you tried directing your focus to a different area of your body that isn't the skin on your hand whilst you're doing these activities?
Yeah. I haven't. No.
Try that in a meditation.
Cool.
Put something like on your shoulder, like an ice cube, something cold, and then hold something in your hand and put all of your focus on the ice cube instead.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Daniel.
Okay.
Daniel, thank you so much for calling, my friend. I hate to rush you off, but we got a boatload of callers that we want to give a chance.
Yeah, no,
to.
it's cool.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Hey, we love you, my friend. Thanks for joining
Yeah,
us
I love
today.
you too. Peace, man.
Take
Okay.
care.
We're gonna go to the next caller, and the next caller, I just want to give you the instructions. We're so glad to have you. Could you please mute, if you're listening to us live on YouTube, mute that audio and just listen to us on the audio, either from your phone or the application browser in the Google Chrome. And can you hear me okay, Crystal? You are live.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Crystal.
So well, thank you all for having this safe space here. And I want to bring up an experience I had recently. It's a mix of astral projection and lucid dreaming. So as far as the astral projection, I set an intention before I go to sleep. And recently, I had a question in regards to my twin flame, and I, in the 3D realm, you know, I've been bi-curious, and in this dream that I had, the lucid dream, I realized after I woke up, it was an initiation. It was a healing ceremony. It was my inner child, my masculine aspect, my masculine divine counterpart, and then it was an older female. And the masculine energy was kind of muted and frozen. The inner child was in the room, and I'm having this experience with the older woman. And it basically was to show me that my true self is not attracted to women, but because of my experiences as a child, I have had these attachments. I would call them succubus energy, because it was someone else that came on to me as a child.
Yeah, sure.
And so the initiation was a healing. And so I woke out of it, and the older woman, you know, in the end, she was basically telling me, you know, like before I woke up, you know, so I wouldn't wake up in any fear, that, you know, she was kind of giving me the Bible verses, you know, it's like you walk by faith and not by sight, and you're here to do God's work, and with whatever that means for me. And so I took that as confirmation that, you know, I'm on the right path as far as my divine mission and coming into union, and mainly union with myself, which is why the initiation took place with my inner child there. And as far as astral projecting, I'm not sure if anyone has experienced conscious, like astral projection, as far as, when I say conscious, I mean as far as my eyes being open, and I guess I'm experiencing this as a heightening of my abilities. I will actually be in a kind of state of meditation, like slight meditation, and my twin will kind of come to me. He's coming on to me astrally, you know, like I'll feel his presence, I'll feel his energy, and he's kind of getting me like, come on, let's get it on. and and I'm like, you know, now like I'm sitting here, I'm like really writing something, or, you know, doing some spiritual readings. And when I finally give into his energy, it never fails that, like, I'll start to, you know, get into it, and then I'll get ideas. And so I kind of agree with what's being said earlier. Like it's really about the energy that comes with it, like the energy you might not experience in the 3D realm.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're getting these ideas, and like in the middle, you know, to have sex with somebody, you can't be like, hold that thought, you know, I gotta write this out real quick. You know, so instead we do it in the astral realm. And so, you know, I'll be feeling it hot and heavy, and then I'll get this idea, and I have to write it down, and then more ideas come, and like it'll be lyrics, or, you know, some kind of business idea, or like a workshop, or things like that. So that's how I've been experiencing astral projection, sex in the astral realm. Is eventually, you know, we'll reach that climax, you know, but it's really a journey, and it really gives a testament to what tantric sex is.
Yes. What an amazing story. Thank you for your bravery too, Crystal, for jumping on this live stream with us. What an amazing story. Ryan, you wanna touch on that, or anything you want to add to that?
That's pretty cool. I mean, I can't really add to that. I mean, she knew exactly what she was doing. She knew exactly what she's getting from it, and good luck in the future.
Yes, Crystal, thank you for joining us. Ryan, we're going to take one more call, and then we're going to let you share your astral sexual experience. We got one more caller we're going to take right now, and then we're going to bring you, ladies and gentlemen, back into this. And this is what it's all about, people sharing their experiences. So it kind of gives you that feeling like you're not alone. There's 7 billion souls on this planet, and you're not the only one that's, you know, popping out of your body or hearing voices or seeing things, or, you know, consciousness is growing, and this is the perfect time to have this platform. So Mr. Daniel, you get it now? Just please mute your audio on the Google Hangout and only listen to the audio either from your phone or the application on the Google Chrome browser. And Mr. Daniel, I'm going to bring you live now. Daniel, you're live on the air with us, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. Hello. I'm a little nervous because like I don't normally like talk like on air like this or whatever, but basically I kind of wanted to like share, I guess, a different perspective, or I don't want to say that different, but with regards to like the whole astral setting, even though I haven't actually been consciously out of body before yet, but this is a thing that I know it is possible to experience in this like third density. It's a very interesting experience with what commonly succubi or incubi. I know there's like a lot of fear around that, and like anyway, I guess people who are afraid of that would be, but anyway, it's like it really becomes this kind of like very intense experience physically. Like it could just start through like masturbation or whatever, and you'll like there will be that initiation of like energy that comes, and it's like normally when like for example like I masturbate, usually it's like, you know, focusing on the physical, but when one gets in tune with this energy, it becomes deeper than that. And I think that's actually really important. It becomes like a genuine exchange of love and this exploration of like ideas, fetishes, things like that, that one, like many would judge as like lewd, but it's like when you have two beings, you and like maybe a succubus, or you maybe an incubus, whatever, it becomes this like a loving mutual exchange of energy and like this mutual exploration. It's really interesting how like deep it could go, how one can down their back and then begin to feel physical sensations from something that is, you know, we can't immediately perceive through our full third density senses. And it's interesting as I'm saying this, it's like I'm receiving information. It's like people kind of do this and they don't even realize they're doing it. Like they're actually interacting with a non-corporeal being without even realizing it. But yeah, like for those who like aren't astral projecting consciously yet, it's like this is a thing that can be experienced in this third density, but albeit it's not necessarily the same way. I wouldn't know what it's like to do it in the astral yet, but it is definitely possible. I think it is like worth exploring, in my opinion. So I kind of wanted to share that perspective. I think it's really interesting.
Thank you for sharing that, Daniel. And I'm feeling the energy of where you are in the 3 density, especially with the expressing your own sexual energy. What I wanted to add to that is, you know, a lot of people, when you talk about sexual energy, it just depends on where you are consciously and your awareness of sexual energy. And sexual energy to a lot of beings is different as far as sacred to a lot of beings, especially with the programs being in 3D, the way we were taught with this sexual energy, to save this sexual energy for, you know, one person who you will be with for the rest of your life. So yeah, I really, especially before I got married and with all of the diseases and things, diseases just really freak me out. All of these, even if there are diseases, they say they're diseases. It's just something about when they say, here's a new disease. I got to the point in my life where I was not comfortable actually even sharing my sexual energy with anyone. in my mind, I felt, you know, and a lot of people get to this space, and I'm just being brave and honest again, where I spent the time in my life where I just masturbated, you know, I got myself off. And so I know that space, I know that little sphere, that little bubble where you are, because when you are masturbating, it's all mental, and it's very similar to the astral experience, because the astral experience is a thought responsive realm. So, you know, you have to, in your mind, create these situations to stimulate that sexual energy, to get that sexual energy rising. So it's very, very similar. It's very similar to the astral realms. I think the only difference is in the astral realms, for me now, we got Cropper coming up who's going to tell about his experience. It's in the astral realms, my whole being. It's almost, well, I actually was talking to it's almost like I was talking to a female, because females orgasm different than males. You know what I mean? And if you look at certain females, when they orgasm, it's like their whole body is like, you know, being a part of that orgasm. And that's kind of like the orgasm, or this exchange of energy that I receive in the astral realms. It's much, much more intense. It's like my whole being is feeling this energy, instead of, you know, my sacral chakra or my genitals or whatever that this energy is being shared at that time. Ryan, would you like to touch on that? Great story, my friend. Thank you for being so brave. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to touch on that, but should I do it over the phone or should I do it on the Hangouts?
Both. Hangouts.
Both?
Yeah.
Hangouts. Okay. There we go. Yeah. You don't have to astral project to feel the astral effects when it comes to having sex with somebody or making love with somebody. The thing is with 3D is the physical sensation and plus how we're groomed done in such a way that we don't feel with our hearts the entire interaction. We're predominantly focusing on the physical aspect of having sex. And that's when we call it sex. We don't call it anything else. You're right, Derek, in the sense that female, they'll be more into it, and that's because they're more emotionally invested in the experience. Mentally, what's going on inside of their mind. And I guess that's just because they're more emotionally connected than most males are. When you astral project, it's completely the opposite. You're overrun with the emotions. You're overrun with the mental aspect of it. And even other energetical, I guess, aspects that tie into astral sex. So when you do that, males remain that in the astral realm, and then you come back to 3D, every other experience after that will be different. It won't be like you're just focusing on the physical body. It will be like you're actually having an experience when you're thinking about something you've seen on the phone. You're not thinking about the other guys or the other girls that you've been with and thinking, okay, I'll do that on this person because in the past they enjoyed it. No, you'll be paying attention to the energy that's present within that moment. When I mean energy, I mean emotionally, and just who they are as a person, really. I mean, in the astrals, when you do it, sometimes you get to a point where it's not even about the physical body. You don't feel anything. It's just an emotional connection. You kind of just merge into one thing. And at that point, you kind of open yourself up entirely. Your memories, intentions, and who you are as a person. And then as you come back, especially if you've done it with somebody who lives nearby, you know, you'll be. Well, some people are kind of shy because you've just shared like your entire psychology with an individual. Some people feel violated because they didn't realize they'll get much. They'll be given so much, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to give on that topic.
Okay, Ryan. I'll give you an option because we do have another caller that wants to chime in and add to this conversation. Would you like to go ahead and share your astral story, or would you like to hear the take or the input from the caller now?
I want to hear her take.
Okay, so you're going to mute one of your volumes like before, so we won't get the echo. All right. Now, I don't want to butcher your name. It is a very unique name. So I am going to abbreviate it to save myself from the butchery of your name. I am just going to call you Cat. Miss Cat.
On it, man.
Miss Cat with the K. Miss Cat, I'm going to bring you live into the call. And Miss Cat Tarina. Can you hear me?
Hi, Ryan.
Hello.
Hey.
It's Katarina, actually. So you did a pretty good job.
Katarina. Okay.
So I wanted to ask and kind of make my own assumption. I haven't had per se an astral orgasm, although I don't really know if I didn't have it. Maybe I wasn't exactly conscious all the way or didn't recall it. But I kind of wonder, I had this since an orgasmic experience, not once, several times, with my ex-partner, where he's very energetically aware. And at that time, I guess I was in my awakening process. The sexual experience with him was not only on the physical scale, and the orgasms were obviously great, but at some point it evolved into, I don't know what the tantric sex is, but I wonder if it was that. But at some point it evolved to the point where when I orgasm, I feel like my body goes into this trance, and it felt like it was a flat line on a heart monitor. It's like the time stopped. And then you realize, and it was longer than the standard orgasm, physical orgasm that you would have. It would be more like several minutes long, and you just lose yourself in this time. And I kind of wonder, and I wonder if Ryan can comment on that, or maybe you, Derek, could comment on that, if this is sort of like a merge between a physical orgasm and the astral orgasm in a 3D reality. And then also, I wanted to know if how people say they can learn how to breathe and bring their body to orgasm. Well, I have experienced that too. So I wonder if this is also sort of like a part of an astral plane and moving your energy in a way where you just breathe and you climax.
Great question. Ryan, you have the honors.
Yeah. What you're going through is pretty much perfect. Pretty much. The mindset you get into after that orgasm feel like a breakthrough. If you're doing the Tantra properly and you're able to circulate the sexual energy with your breathing, in sync with your partner, same with movements and other things. Especially if that person's really good with using energy, he should be able to move it through you and
connect the circuit there.
And when you do finally have that orgasm, it is like you're breathing through that dimensional wall type deal. You become so submersed by feeling. A spiritual experience rather than a physical experience. And the mindset you get into is a higher state of consciousness, like way higher. But it depends on whether or not the breathing's in sync, the energy's in sync. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like the physical side is bad or anything, or you should only focus on the spiritual, because you need that physical attribute to it in order to make the whole thing run smoothly. And that's how you bring that sexual energy from the third dimension up. You're really into it. And you're doing the Tantra and you're doing the breath work and you're in certain positions, then it works. And especially if you're having a Kundalini awakening during that time, you'll experience some strange internal goings-ons within the body. And if you get really good, and you do reach the astral state where you feel yourself in the astrals and in 3D at the same time, then it will feel as if you're merging with your partner. They're completely. And if you go to like the utmost, I guess, level in this Tantra, then it will feel as if you are that person physically. It feels like you switch places sometimes, because you're leaving the body in a sense, and you're joining as one, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just add a little bit to that. You know, a lot of times when we release our sexual energy, especially when we're growing our consciousness, and when we're even aware that sexual energy is sexual energy and not what we name it in 3D, you know, all these different names of sexuality. But what you're actually doing is when you release that sexual energy, you actually unconsciously have an outer body experience from that energy leaving your body. It's like it's projecting your consciousness away from three-dimensional things. Because if you really, zero in on that moment, the moment that that energy is being released, you're in pure bliss, you're in pure ecstasy. You're not thinking about anything except that energy that you're feeling, you know, and that's what's so powerful about it. So you are kind of sort of, because I know that I can astral project from sexual energy. I can't leave my body. And as Ryan said, once you get good at switching that awareness from the 3D, holding that frequency in the astral realms, because especially if you have a partner there, it's kind of hard if your partner is not on the same level of awareness that you are, that could actually project with you. And then you both will be in the astral realms. But what usually happens in a lot of cases, your partner is more grounded to 3D, and you're experiencing this sexual energy, and at the same time your consciousness is growing. You're having these outer body experiences by accident or on purpose. So you actually do, my friend Kat, you are visiting the astral realms. But as soon as your attention or your awareness is drawn back to the body, whether it could be from a touch from your partner or a noise or a question, you slam back into the body right away. So yeah, every orgasm, just now this is just from my perspective, every orgasm, consciously or unconsciously, is kind of like an outer body experience, because your awareness is totally, I don't know anybody that can have an intense orgasm and not really be drawn all the way into the orgasm. I never seen anybody play a video game, or, you know what I'm trying to say? So you are focusing your intent on releasing that sexual energy. Kat, what a wonderful question. And we thank you so much for your bravery to jump on the platform with us. We love you so much. We thank all of our callers, and we look forward to hearing from a lot more of you guys. At this time, we're going to go more into Mr. Cropper. Ryan, your actual astral sexual experience, my friend.
Hey, before that, I just want to mention something somebody just mentioned in the chat. Very good way.
Okay.
Kim says, disgusting, guys. You don't know who or what you're having sex with. You're right, to some degree. You are right. Let me tell you what's going on. At the beginning stages, the beginning stages of somebody who is just astral projecting, if they're very horny, if they're very aroused, if they're into masturbation or watching pornography, if their mindset isn't quite right, and they're very new to astral projection, and they leave their body, they'll attract things that will deliberately shapeshift to look like their fantasies. We're very telepathic, okay? We can see what you want. So you will find beings in the astrals that will pose as certain members of society that you want to be with deliberately, just to lay with you. But 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work. Let me tell you why. In the astrals, you communicate with telepathy. Nobody in the astrals can accurately, sufficiently turn off their vibration. It's their intent. If they're trying to deceive you and they're looking a certain way, you're going to know, okay? And you're not going to want to go near them. then you're going to move. It doesn't matter what they look like. Okay, no visual aspect of them will make you approach them, okay, in the way that they want you to. But it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Okay? It doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Every now and then you do get beings that do mingle with humans who astral project. But really it's their choice. They're not forcing them upon them or anything like that, okay? Now, to, I guess, advance on that point, if you're like me and you've astral projected for years on end, okay, years on end, and you're very good with your telepathy, and you're holding a certain vibration, and you haven't got all of the mental issues that come along with the third dimensional perception of sex, and you bring your mindset, your now clear mindset, into the astrals, no being is going to approach you that wants to have sex with you. No lower entity is going to be able to go near you, and that's because your vibration is too high. Okay, and at that point you can still have sex in the astrals, but you won't call it sex. You'll call it merging, you'll call it telepathic merging, you'll call it union, and you'll only do it with beings that are also of the same frequency as you, higher beings. Okay, at that certain point of time, I don't mean like super high beings, because most high beings don't even need to touch you, because when they join in union, they don't think of it as a 3D experience. They don't think of it like that, because they understand that you don't need the physical body in order to merge with someone to a certain degree. It's only when you're third dimensional that you believe that you can only connect with somebody to this level through the means of sex. But even in the third dimension, if you're a third dimensional being, you can get to the point of awareness where you're tuned into everything, to the point where you get the same connection, that end result that you would normally get during that activity. And here's the thing. Sex, really, it's just one road that leads to connection. Just one road. Just one road. There are many different facets which lead to connection. When you're a being in 3D and you're not of a third dimensional mindset or nature, you will figure out these other ways of getting to that connection, and then you won't need to have sex. So when you're in the astrals, you're going around and you're collecting to everything. You're inside people's minds, and it's fine. You know, it's not of a sexual nature. But loads of energy beings, low vibrational beings, do like to, they try to anyway, by shape-shifting and hiding their appearance. But you'll know, you know, it's not like they're going around fooling everybody and everyone's just jumping into bed with all these astral beings. Not at all. But yeah, and also you also get the chance to project with humans also. Humans. Okay, if you've gotten to the point where you can tell if someone's lying to you, and you actually know the traveler from Earth, and merge together and you can experience astral sex, it's fine. As long as you can see through deception and you're pretty advanced in the astrals, you're okay. Okay. Other than that, yeah, you can also have intercourse with other beings, because there are different classes of beings that still want that physical activity, that physical attribute towards that experience. Now, just because they've got blue skin, or because they're slightly taller than normal, doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean it's disgusting neither. Okay, they'll take that to heart. If you were to say it to their face, they'd be very offended. But because most of these beings in the astrals, in my opinion, are actually cleaner than most humans on Earth, mentally and emotionally. They're more stable. They've got their stuff together, you know.
Absolutely.
But going into my experience, I was one of those fools at the beginning who was very young, had sex in 3D, just didn't really care that much, you know. I drank a lot of alcohol as well when I was younger, which is kind of weird because I look young now, right? But when I was younger, I was doing this stuff. And then I started to astral project, and I noticed these beings showing up in my environment. And I noticed that they would try to look a certain way to try and get me to have sex with them, right? Or they call them incubuses, shapeshifters, basically. They don't have a sex, but they can shift between sexes to have an experience. And like I said, you can tell. So what did I do? Well, you can do many things. You can talk away, or you can just come back here, okay? For example, this one entity tried to look like my mum, not for sexual reasons, just to get me to go close to that person, the individual, this entity. And it did a terrible job at trying to, I guess, it looked like my mum, only this thing was levitating off the ground like 3 feet. its hair was going all crazy, like it was underwater. It had this gross, like this look in its eyes, this intent with this cheesy grin. It just looked so mischievous and devious, right? And it's looking at me, and I could feel its intent. It's so powerful. It's like it's thick in the room. Okay, what I do is I just put my hand out and I pushed it without touching it. This thing was 5 feet away from me. I just pushed my hand out, right, and the door behind the being opened out. And you know when you look inside of a mirror and you hold a mirror next to it and you see other mirrors, right? And it just keeps going. That effect happened to the door. And then it pushed it all the way through the doors until it hit the last door, which burst out white light. And it went through, closed the door, all the doors came back, slapped back, and then the reality was fixed again. It was just one single door there. Okay? This is just one example of a being trying to look like someone else. When it's a being that's trying to look pretty or whatever, they can't do it properly. Okay, so you have to be pretty just unconscious in the astral realm to fall for it, you know. And good thing is in the astral realm you can tell because you're pretty aware, you know. However, so was after that I was like, okay, sure. I've had numerous beings come up to me and try to approach me in this manner. So what am I going to do? Yeah, I got rid of them. I banished them after a time. And then one time I'm in the astrals and I've gotten pretty good at it, right? Astral projecting. And I'm in this dimensional realm, which doesn't really look like this realm entirely there, but it's more light than anything else, okay? Kind of like the Fae realm with fairies and everything. It looks pretty cool. And I see this being, which was very sexual in nature, very sexual in nature. Her vibration was not just wanted to have an experience. Now, she had blue skin. Her ears were longer than normal, kind of pointy as well, and they came out like this, not up straight away, but they were kind of like down a little bit. She had piercings everywhere, piercing her ear to her nose on either side, and she had this weird skirt on made out of jewelry. And again, she didn't have to try to look like this. She just looked like this. It was like, it's just how she looked. It was that being at the time. She was short, maybe about 5 foot tall. And her hands were slightly brighter than her skin. Obviously, more like there was tinge to it, okay? So she looked at me like this Vulcan mind swap at first, right? So because we don't speak in the astrals, it's all telepathy. And then I see her, we do the telepathic link. I know exactly what she wants. She knows that I'm kind of thinking about it. You know, okay, let's go do this. So we started. And at the beginning, because I was new to it, she was like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, right? Energy-wise, on the astral realm-wise, he's not connecting properly and all this stuff. Not only that, but constantly thinking about my physical body, which pulled me straight back to my physical body. I found it very hard to stay in that realm. If not, I was there for like a minute and straight back into my physical body. I'm like, dang it, I need to get this thing down because I have no idea how I'm going to do this otherwise. After that experience, I started doing it again with a human astral projectioner on Earth, astral realms. And it was pretty cool, but I learned how to do it properly and stay in the astral realms for as long as I want. Okay? Now, it's nothing like a lucid dream. When you're in a lucid dream and you have sex, you come back and sheets are a mess, your bed's a mess, everything's just messy. You start sweating, your body just reacts. Astral projection-wise, though, you come back and your body's like fine. There's nothing wrong with your body. You're not aroused or anything. It's like you haven't done anything at all. Okay? That's the difference there. But yeah, once you establish that connection telepathy-wise, once you're more aware of what's going on, once you become powerful in the astral realms, you can play, you can do whatever you like. But at the end of the day, all you're doing is you're using your physical body to bring back information of what it's like to have sex here, and you're bringing that information into the astral realm, and you're assimilating it to your astral body so that you can bring a third dimensional experience into the astral realm. Okay, and you do that on behalf of the other entity or the other being, so that they can experience what it's like, because they don't know what it's like, because they've never been 3D before. Okay, again, they're not going to trick you. Yeah, you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell if it's an astral entity. You'll be able to tell. So that's just a few of my experiences. That's just where people are at. You know, take it, leave it, do what you like with it.
That's great, man. That's great. Ryan, you can kind of monitor that chat. I think we had some questions coming into the chat. I got a little lag from the chat. Yours might be a little more in the now. Yes. So how do you guys feel about what you're hearing? If you have any comments, if you want to express your opinion, 2 ways you can do it today, ladies and gentlemen. You can go over to imconsciousnow.com and use the app in the Google browser. Hit the call now button. We'll get you in the queue. We'll let you express your consciousness, express yourself. That's what this platform is about. It's not, as I said, and I'm going to keep saying this, it's not just about, you know, me and Ryan. We put this platform together so you, ladies and gentlemen, can have a voice, so you can feel like you're a part of a large community that are having these experiences, these raises and vibrations, this awareness that is just, you know, I'm growing. I was talking to Ryan the other day and he was like, dude, when I first met you, you were like here and now you're like here. And I don't even realize it. And I grow just from the callers who called in today. The young lady Kat, just hearing her stories. I was downloading a lot of things that she was experiencing that I've never experienced before. So yes, you can call in. Also, those of you who don't want to use the browser, and I'm going to learn this number by heart. I have to keep turning and looking because it's the second week we've been using this number. That number, once again, is 1701. Press the 1 if you're in the UK. If you're in the United States, you don't have to hit the 1 button. Okay, so it's 1701 719 1458. We're going to get to you callers. And I am going to be sharing some news. I want to bring you guys some news on some of these live casts to help broaden awareness of what's going on, some things that, you know, I pick up from here and there around the web, just to get you guys' opinion on it. And while we're waiting for some more callers, we got 4 in the queue right now. I just want to share some news, if that's okay right now, Ryan.
Yeah, sure, go for it. What shall we do?
Yeah, I'm going to share some news that's going around the internet right now. And it was something that's really helped broaden my awareness as far as what's going on in 3D. A lot of things are being revealed. And the one that really caught me this week was the Eric Snowden. And a lot of people, you'll be surprised, a lot of people are not familiar with Mr. Snowden. And if you don't know about Mr. Eric Snowden, a lot of different opinions about this gentleman. My perspective of this gentleman, I look at him like he's a hero, you know, and that's why I want you guys to jump on the call and express how you feel about Eric Snowden. Eric Snowden stole 1.7 million classified documents, okay? And he still has most of those documents, and he leaked a lot of those documents to journalists, and he just put in mainstream what has been going on in some cases, wow, like 30 levels above the president with our government and other governments around the entire world. And he actually, you know, went over to Russia just to catch you guys up. He actually fled the USA, and he's been labeled like a terrorist for sharing his information. And I just wanted to go into some of the information. Those of you who don't know the information that he has shared, that is just blowing me away, and I just get lost into a lot of this information. If he basically shared this information that can tap into any conversation and can unencrypt any data on the internet. So for example, if I call Ryan on the phone And this technology is like voice activated, like keyword, certain words or certain things that you say in that conversation will actually trigger this. This software is just next level things. You know, it will trigger us to automatically be monitored by artificial intelligence, which would then start recording our phone calls. And this was happening not to ordinary people just like me and you, ladies and gentlemen, but government officials around the globe in different countries. Okay. And yeah, the Eric Snowden movie in the United States, those of you who are in the United States, that movie launched, I think it was this weekend. So I wanted to know if any of you actually saw that movie. I want to know what some of you think about Eric Snowden. Is he a hero? Do you feel like he's a traitor from the United States for leaking this information? Yeah, I would love to hear what you guys think about Eric Snowden. He is just trending all over the internet. And I think he's kind of a hero. I think he's kind of brave. And the reason being is he has really just uncovered a lot of things that we as the people in this world, the 7 billion souls, we should know a lot of things that were going on. These secret kebabs, they hide all of the technology. They hide a lot of different information. And we're using technology and things right now just to survive that are easily 200-300 years old. Yeah, there's technology out there that we all could have right now that we could fuel our own homes, and it's probably the size of a cell phone. It's your heat, it's your electric. You just plug into it and it will power your whole home, and it's like the size of a cell phone. So there is technology out there, and you ladies and gentlemen, you'll see in the next, I don't want to put a time on it because no one knows the time, but you're going to see very, very fast different technologies coming into our reality right now because of the things that Eric Snowden and a bunch of insiders are letting. It's just becoming mainstream. So yeah, get on that call. I would love to know what you guys think about that. That's the news for this week. He was just trending. I just wanted to bring him to the conversation. If you don't know who Eric Snowden is, you can run over to Google and just type in his name, Eric Snowden. Actually, there's a movie about this guy. It got so big that he's trending pretty good now. And Cropper, you said you didn't really know about this guy too much, huh? In the UK.
I don't know much of anyone when it comes to people leaking out information. That's mainly because I'm not really the kind of person to watch a lot of stuff online or on TV. I ain't seen my TV in months, actually. It's downstairs. I haven't turned it on. However, recently, a client of mine gave me a link to a web series called Cosmic Disclosure. And David Wilcock, who was the first person I used to listen to a long time ago. This was before, I used to listen to David Wilcock before Spirit Science became established on YouTube. Then, so it was a very long time ago. And I really just stuck with him for a while, and then I just stopped when I started doing my own YouTube thing. But recently I've started watching him again on Cosmic Disclosure, which is on a new website called Gaia, I think. The information on there is pretty cool. I watch it because it validates a lot of the stuff that I've always known, and yet I tell people and they just think I'm crazy, you know. And then this guy called Corey comes on board, who's actually been there and, you know, found ways to go inside of the earth and to use the sun as a portal. And he even mentions where we came from, you know, not our bodies, how our bodies were created by extraterrestrials, but also, you know, who built them, who built the extraterrestrials, who built us, and so forth. And he goes back to the original people, and he says how these interdimensional beings were giving him information pertaining to how the universe creates people on a whole, you know, naturally. And it's the same logic that I came up with when I was like 14, you know, 14, 15, around that age. And it's like, okay, now he's leaking it out and everyone's listening to him. He's a guy of influence, you know. He's got a lot of people behind him when it comes to a following who are willing to listen. Me, I'm doing the best I can, but he's way ahead when it comes to divulging this information, which is great. And that's why I watch him anyway. But Snowden, pretty much you're the only person who's told me about him recently, Snowden.
Oh yeah, this guy Snowden is and what actually drew my attention to Snowden. I don't watch mainstream television either. I do a lot of streaming. I like to, research different things and just, knowing I really what I like to do is just try to align myself up from the energy that I'm receiving from the cosmos and see how that energy aligns to what's going on in 3D as far as my awareness and my consciousness of what's going on. Some things are folly. A lot of things on mainstream TV is emotion. A lot of it is perspective. But there are, just as you shared with the that guy, I'm fully aware of the cosmic disclosure. Is just mind blowing. The information that they are allowing us normal people, and I would say we're normal people because we're not in the kebab, we're not in the 12 families, we don't make up 49% of the income. I know I don't in the entire world, but we're getting information, ladies and gentlemen, that has been kept secret for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and it just sheds so much light when you hear this information. And I know when I first start receiving this information, it was kind of hard. You have to really guard and be aware of your vibrations, because some of this information can be very, very disturbing. And I don't want to say that to, dramatize what we're talking about, but it just depends on where you are consciously is how you receive this information. And I try to stay in the middle of the polarity, because if these breakaway societies that have been where you and I are right now, I guess in this state, this three-dimensional state, living on top of the earth, some of the things sound kind of crazy that we talk about if you're still one-dimensional thinking, meaning you're only using what you were taught, from the quote unquote powers that be. We all went to school. We were taught what to think. We were taught what to say. We were actually taught this language, this English language, and these different languages that we speak. We were taught these things as a way to communicate and kind of keep us in these boxes that I talked about on our first live stream. But when you break out of, and that's why I like to call them boxes, when you break out of all of the boxes and just return to that free will being, that being that you are, when you connect to your higher self and connect with, I use the example as the internet in 3D. When you connect to the internet, which is the universe, you start to receive and data and information. The one guy called in, his touch is getting sensitive. It just takes you and opens you up to a whole new way of experiencing and observing life. I mean, I share my life now is like a fairy tale, I totally take responsibility over my thoughts now. I download the information that I feel that I need and information that I don't feel like I need. I show no emotion to it. So I kind of try to stay right in the middle of the polarity game. And those of you who don't know what polarity is, my perspective, this three-dimensional space that we've been trapped in for a long time, it was built off polarity. For us to debate, for us to go back and forth with Democrat, Republican, white, black, tall, short, male, female, hot, cold, night, day. One can't exist without the others. And that's what keeps us separated. But this consciousness and this energy that we're now receiving from the cosmos, if you can just tap into it, it frees you from all of these boxes. It frees you from your physical self. It really starts to let you know what, I'll just say, consciousness is all about. Consciousness, there's no width, there's no depth, there's no right, there's no wrong. Everything just becomes an experience. and you'll begin to just attach your emotion, your feelings to these events and circumstances as they play out in your consciousness, your awareness. You won't attach them like, oh, that happened to me. It'll be more like, wow, that was a weird experience. You kind of know what I'm saying, Crop, as far as consciousness and us being individual humans. Sometimes we have that pity party. Oh, everything's going wrong. This happened to me, instead of I experience the vibration of, and this is how I felt about it, and just move on.
Right. Yeah.
I know that was kind of long, but what I was really touching at is raising the vibration of awareness to actually start receiving. Because one of the things that I notice people have problems with when we talk about astral projection and extraterrestrials and entities and astral sex is because you're so, and I was too, I'm not, and this is no judgment. I, at one point in my time, used to watch so much TV and so much sci-fi and so much reality things. Oh, it just, when I used to hear about these type of things and I was one dimensional, I used to just brush it off like, oh, here we go. You know, the technology has got so good in mainstream media and some of these movies. We've seen so many aliens and so many spaceships and so many different planets in these movies that when you really begin to talk about it, you're just numb to it. But these things and these breakaway civilizations, they really do exist. And we now live on the outer core of the earth, but there are, you know, this has been proven, you know, and it's not about a debate. They're not, whether we believe it or not, things are going on in this universe, in our galaxy, that it's gonna get pretty, for me, exciting when these things are gonna be exposed. There's some big things that are lining up right now that are going to change our way of thinking forever when these things are exposed.
Yeah. Not quite sure what to add to that, except those of you who've got me on Facebook, I posted a video on my group, Ryan Cropper's Friends, about a video pertaining to a UFO sighting. You know, whenever I say UFO sighting, it's like I'm thrown back into my old mindset of believing that UFOs, it's funny, yeah, it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? When you say the words UFO, alien, ghost, it's like they're trigger words. They stop people from opening up, or at least to listen. That's what I like to call it. They're actually like not listening to what you're saying because they're paying too much attention to what they think they know, you know? So how would you combat this? Well, you'd say there was an unidentified craft that works better than UFO, right? Or there was an extraterrestrial, or there was an entity. That's the one that's working a lot nowadays. Entity. You say entity to people, they'll believe you. I'm not sure what happened in the media, but when you say entity, it tends to reach people. You know what I mean? So this unidentified craft is basically a cube. It's basically a cube, and it's descending through the clouds. I thought it was pretty cool. You know, it looks like it's been taken straight out of a Superman movie or that recent alien movie called Arrival, where it's like a pebble. Have you seen that trailer? Well, imagine that, but a square, you know? So the better technology gets, the more information we're getting, or we're able to see, we're able to capture that, and people like Snowden are releasing a lot of files.
Yes.
For full disclosure. It's going to get to the point where it's like, okay, like really, you don't believe in them? They're everywhere. You know, I heard of somebody the other day saying how they don't believe in dinosaurs. I'm in a museum surrounded by dinosaur fossils. You see what I mean there? And he's going around saying how dinosaurs don't exist. It's going to get to the point where there's so much credibility pertaining to UFOs and aliens that you can't say it doesn't exist. You know, there are going to be things walking amongst you which aren't entirely human. To find a person in the public that's turning around saying, "Oh, I don't believe in aliens," and they're like sat on the table, and like 3 of them aren't even human, or maybe they're not even outside, like they're inside their house, and they're thinking aliens aren't real, and it's all over the news. It's like their brains are breaking, you know.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean, it's 2016. It's out, ladies and gentlemen. It's out. We are not alone in this universe. There are hybrids walking the earth right now that don't have souls. There are clones. I mean, you have to. They're cloning the food, okay? You know, and the food is quote unquote our life source. We have to eat food to keep this 3-dimensional body healthy, quote unquote. So if they got to the point where they could clone food and trees and plants and, you know, different strands of marijuana, for those of you who are into the marijuana, listen, they're cloning. And some of this information that Ryan was talking about from the cosmic disclosure, the technology that has been hitting from, we will take our cell phones and these laptops and these, I'm telling you, we would just throw them up against the wall. We are, I mean, they were going to and from space, Mars, Saturn, the galaxies in the 1950s. It's out now. I've personally read some of these documents. Snowden has Eric Snowden leaked 1.7 million, 36 levels higher than the president documents, of which 200,000 of these documents were leaked to the media. It's all over the internet right now. And that's why the government and the kebab, they're scrambling. They don't know what to do. The best thing and the worst thing that happened to us, I'll be the first to say it, is the internet. The best is because now we could get on these platforms like we're doing now. We can have people call in, we can share information, and the polarity to that is we become addicted and we stop thinking and we stop astral projecting. We just run over to Google and ask this artificial intelligence for all of the answers. I think on the other show we did, we built Google. Google is a artificial intelligence that taps into our thoughts, our minds. We built it based on our searches. Facebook, the whole database of Facebook, we, the people, our minds, we built Facebook. And so this is just the beginning of this artificial intelligence technology that, and it's coming. It's going to rule the world. And I just want to put up a disclaimer. I'll call it a disclaimer. And me and Ryan was talking. We talked for hours off the show. This virtual reality, augmented reality, and I'm telling you now, it's already starting to trend. Right now, augmented reality. They have the technology now that can create, and it's here. It just hasn't been dropped on us. And the reason why I'm leaking this now, well, I'm not leaking anything. The reason why I'm talking about this now is for those of you, this is a disclaimer, okay? I'm just telling you, until you have an astral experience, until you pop out of your 3-dimensional body and really explore the astral realm, I would just say, don't fool with augmented realities and virtual realities, simulations of realities. Don't fool with it. And the reason why they're coming out with all of these realities is, once again, to enslave us in these realities. Okay. And if you can really feel what I'm trying to say, until you pop out of your physical body and visit this astral realm, this parallel universe, and experience that, you'll be able to, that's how we know that this 3-dimensional realm is just a dense, low vibration realm. It's like behind, it's not so responsive to thought. It's like a delay. It was created. This realm that we call life, Earth, was created by high level conscious beings that we've learned through religion and all of these boxes that were gods. These are the gods that were in a lot of these books, you know. And someone said, well, Derek, who is God to you? I'm a God. You're a God. Everyone on this call is a God because we're co-creators. God, in my perspective, is the divine presence of all, the actual awareness that all resides in. I've learned that I am awareness and you guys are awareness. All of these things that we're doing in this dimension, we were taught. Even our language, I said this earlier, and I was looking in the chat. That guy is actually absolutely right. We speak spells on each other all day with this language, the English language. We have to spell words. We're actually speaking spells through the vibration of our voices using these words. And the astral realm is telepathy, you know, and it's just something that you really, I really push this, you know, the astral projection to really take your will and your desire and all that you have. Those of you who have not had an out-of-body experience, this is the beginning of your spiritual journey. This is when you'll know without a shadow of a doubt that you are immortal and there's no such thing as death. No one will be able to take that away from you. This is where it starts. And this has been hidden. And that's why now they're coming out with more virtual. Oh, we got to leak these realities now, because a lot of people are popping out of their bodies and they're saying just, you know, they're like, okay, I'm immortal. I never died. Okay, now what? And they're exploring, like the young lady is exploring. She's bringing information back from the astral realm and she's creating things and she's writing books and she's creating. That's where all of our energy and our power comes from, thought. So what are they doing? They're creating more virtual realities for us to hang around in and drink coffee. And they will steal the whole experience of you. I mean, you'll get so wrapped up into these dimensions that you won't even think about laying down and meditating and leaving your physical body. You'll be so wrapped up into these dimensions, because I'm telling you, these dimensions are very, very vivid, very, very vivid and lucid dimensions. So I'm just going to put a disclaimer out there. If you haven't had an out-of-body experience yet, I would put off playing around with these man-made dimensions, because this technology that they're dropping now is next level and it's going to get better and better. They're going to have dimensions that you can just go hang out and you're at the beach or you're on the moon and I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, and you don't want that to steal your inner, your connection. The real internet is the universe. You don't want that to block that connection of all, you know, real reality, real life. It's okay once you had an out-of-body experience, because you'll be more like crap. You'll be able to just explore and laugh about, oh, this is cool, you know, but you know that that's just a created reality by an entity, like he likes to say. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm learning. And that's why, you know, I really don't, a lot of people that's around me now, I don't really extract a lot of emotion on different circumstances. Like in the United States, we got a big election going on right now. And I mean, I had family members that, you're not going to vote? I mean, when you get to a certain level, you'll understand that I don't have to physically get in my car, right? Drive to a location, push a couple of buttons, and come home and feel like I helped change the world. You know what I mean? I know that the voting system is corrupt. There is an agenda, and we the people, we're not putting these presidents and people into office. It's already said who's going to win the election. We you know, that's a whole nother show, you know, and I respect what you believe and how you feel. And my mom votes. My grandma always voted. My mom said, I can't believe that, people died for you to get the chance to vote. And I appreciate you guys who incarnated for me to vote. But I feel like it doesn't matter if I went and voted or not. It's all computers now. It's all electronics. Who's on the other side of the technology that's taking all of the votes? Crop? I don't know, man. It's just.
Hey, I mean, yesterday you saw how detached I was from all of this when you asked me who my president was in the UK.
I asked Crawford, and that's funny. I asked Crawford because I was, I have a neighbor that, and I love this guy. This guy, he's older. He's been retired for like 20 years. And, when I'm cutting my back grass, it's like in the movies, he'll see me and he'll come up to the gate and we'll talk. And he'll always ask me, hey, you heard what happened to Hillary and Trump? He keeps me updated with the, that's like our little relationship. And I've accepted that he's big on elections and he's a Democrat. And, so I listen. Sometimes for an hour or two, I just listen to him. And he was telling me that, Hillary Clinton, her medical records have been released and she fell out. Now they're talking about canceling the election. But if anybody watched my channel 6 months ago, I told you guys that it wasn't going to be an election in the United States. I already said it, that there was not going to be a quote unquote fair election in the United States. It's not. I mean, when we get to the point that we have a reality TV star, not taking anything from Mr. Trump as far as business, I think he's brilliant. I followed him. He's well established in business and selling and trading. Can't take nothing away from him. Okay. But and I like Trump. He cracks me up. But when it gets to the point where we have a reality star television, he was being on The Apprentice. That's really what catapulted him into mainstream. And then you have Hillary Clinton with all that she's going through right now. And it's not up to me to try to, shame her or anything. I'm just viewing all of this. And it's almost like, okay, Derek. And I said this to Ryan, and it's almost like they're saying, okay, Derek, what do you want for lunch? A piss sandwich or a dookie sandwich? You got to choose one. That's how I really feel about the voting. What do you want to eat? A piss sandwich or a dookie sandwich? And I'm just like, I don't want neither one of them. I'm cool. I'm fasting. You know what I'm saying? Ryan, we're going to go to the calls. We got some callers in here. As we wrap up the show, you guys can give us a call, your last words on what we talked about. I know we talked about a lot today, and we try to keep this non-scripted. We talked about astral sex. We talked about a lot of stuff, right? So we're going to go back to the calls. Let me turn this level up. Make sure you go to I'mConsciousNowWhat.com. We have an app on the Google browser that you can call in, or you can call in with your phone. Area code 1701-719-4858. We're going to go back to the call. And you are live on the call. Kat, you are live on the call.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, this is Ketamine again, not to hijack the show here. But I wanted to share my point of view or my perception on realities. As we were speaking about the technologies, and the way I perceive reality is it doesn't come like a thinking pattern. It comes more as I understand reality or realities more like a multi-layer cake. Mm-hmm. And it feels that my body, my spirit doesn't live in my body, but my body lives within my consciousness. Mm-hmm. So when my consciousness chooses to go into different reality, it jumps in that multi-layer cake depending on the emotions that I project. So therefore, I'll end up in a reality where As you may say, you know, somebody else has a technology to change my reality, or I'll shift into reality where I am the creator of my reality. So interesting that this topic is being talked about today. Is that in the morning I was chatting with my friend, and I was expressing that, you know how we have a perception that something looks as something, but in reality may look totally different when you look at the energetic standpoint. And we have all these planets in the cosmos, and within the cosmos, they're like sort of a different realities. And, you know, and here we are as a humanity species, along with the intraterrestrial and extraterrestrials coexisting with us on the same planet. It's a possibility that that the microcosm that we have with individual body is actually another reality where we perceive that, you know, there is a nerve going in our body, or blood cell traveling in our veins. But in reality, these entities within our bodies could be the representation of a human being in a different dimension.
Wow.
So I don't know if it sounds a little crazy.
No.
But I'm looking at that, you know, the blood cell is actually a human being. We perceive it as a blood cell, as in our biology reality, it looks like a cell, a round thing, or a C-shaped thing if you have a disease. But in reality, we could be that blood cell and not even know, because we think we have this body, and the body, the physical body that we have, is not really, I don't know if anybody out there, I'm pretty sure that there are people that out there that see the frequency. Let's say, you know, when you, a lot of people see it more when they stare out like in the sky and not exactly at something. A lot of people actually see the molecules moving, and it gives you kind of an understanding that everything is frequency. It's like a little bent light frequencies traveling everywhere, and your body is the same. It's like a code.
Yeah.
It's the understanding of a matrix. So just wanted to share. I just don't think that somebody else is creating for me or manipulating. I think I am the creator of my reality, and as a part of my body being within a soul that I am connected to, that my body exists within the soul. Therefore, there are multiple avatars that could exist within that soul. And the whole purpose of the game is to actually make sure that these avatars know how to coexist on the same frequency.
I like that. I'm loving that, Kat.
I hope it helps anybody.
Crop, what do you think about that?
From what I understood, it kind of sounded like by integration methods with the cells, because the cells itself really is just another aspect of your consciousness.
Hey, Crop.
And yeah.
Go on your other microphone where you'll be on the Hangout.
What do you mean by that? Again?
Yeah, you're coming through Zeno.
Yeah, so you want me to turn off Zeno and just come on through Hangout?
Yes, sir.
But if
she'll hear you.
If she's muted Hangout, she can't hear me, can she?
She'll hear you.
How's it now?
Great.
Okay, so yeah, and you said something earlier which also sparked my interest. When I'm in the astrals, there are actually different filters to your third eye in the astral realm. If you've been in the astrals long enough, you actually learn that your astral eye, or your third eye that you're using to see, actually has different settings. What looks like a dark room or an empty space isn't actually empty at all. Okay, and what I did once was I looked at the molecules within the space, and then I went real small, like super small, to the point where I saw the electron traveling around the neutron of the molecule. And then I went inside the center of the molecule, the neutron. And inside there was a whole nother reality with beings inside of that molecule. Beings that could open doorways and portals inside the molecule. And once I was inside there, this thing is tiny, by the way, like it's real small. And I've gone to the point where most scientists can't actually see that small of an object. And inside there, once you're there, it looks massive. It looks like you're in an entirely different reality. where there are beings that are communicating or using little doorways and so forth within that space. So when you mentioned about the cell being like alive, like an entity of sorts, what I saw in my mind was, okay, well, what if the matter of my body could actually act as a doorway cellularly, each atom at a time, each amino acid that creates certain aspects of my body. But on a conscious scale, because I've integrated my intuition, which is my subconscious mind, I've written it in my book called The Abysmal Mind, that in turn connects you to the cells, and you're operating from a being state of consciousness. Whereas when someone's looking at you, they're actually looking at a being inside of the suit, which is inside of the cells, which is inside of the subconscious, which is connected to reality. They're not talking to an ego or a shell or a bunch of programming, right? So that's what I got out of that. Sounds pretty cool, you know? I wouldn't have discovered any of this if I wasn't astral projecting, so I'm glad I'm able to teach others how to do the same thing.
Yeah, just amazing content today. And we want to thank everybody. And we couldn't get to everybody on this call because we're pushing 3 o'clock. And one of the platforms that we are utilizing only allows us to record for 2 hours. So we don't want to go over that limit. We love you guys, and we thank you for taking your time out to help us build this platform. I'm conscious now what we couldn't do it without you guys. We thank you for all of our callers, and we look forward to, you know, getting the callers, the people out there that's in the chat. We want to get you. We want you to join this conversation and get on the platform, and you know, let people hear your voice. Let people hear where you are consciously. Kat, I'd like to thank you so much. That was very, very, very good. The way your consciousness thinks and the way you're starting to decode different things and explore consciousness touched me a lot. I appreciate all of the calls. Any last words, Crop? We got about 4 minutes, my brother from another mother.
Any last words? See you Wednesday. You know what? I just realized we were supposed to be talking about maybe Wednesday. We're supposed to be talking about contact. I know what I told you last night, but other contacts. I have numerous contacts.
I was kind of waiting on that too, man. I was kind of, I didn't want to blow it, you know. I've heard the other side of Cropper's experience, and I was like, what? You gonna, but Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, you can join us Wednesday. So, ladies and gentlemen, our dates as of now, this is kind of new. Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Sunday 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For now, it's going to be I'm Conscious Now What. We're going to go live, and we're going to put together a nice little platform where we'll have all of this information, and we're just going to build a community of conscious beings. Not that we're trying to start a cult, or not that we believe our way is the way or it has to be this way. We're just exploring and experiencing consciousness from all different perspectives. You know, I am a never ending learning being, and I just get so excited when it's time to start this show. So on that note, we will be joining you once again, same place, same time, same platform. I'm Conscious Now What, right here on the YouTube Live. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share the video, and don't forget to hit the like button. That's how you're going to help us build our platform. Okay, because the more callers, the more people that see this, the more the higher the vibration, the more information, the more guests that we're going to have on the show. This is week number 1, right? So imagine this 90 days from now when we have some of your favorite conscious beings and entities, right, on this show. All right, we love you, and we'll see you Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Conscious Now What. Love.
Peace.
Love.